Hey, I'm Tara with the Regenerative Living School, and we are at the OMstead today, which is my home and a little permaculture oasis in North Florida. So we're going to be in the garden today talking about some winter and spring weeds. The purpose of the video is to encourage people to let the weeds grow, whether we're in the city or we're in the country. I want to encourage people to get to know their local weeds, make friends with the weeds. So let the weeds grow in the yards and in the gardens. So we'll look at some good edible and medicinal weeds, and yeah, we're going to be looking at the weeds that are particular to winter here in North Florida, and then also early spring weeds. So it's March now, and we're looking at some winter, I want to say herbs, but I'll keep saying weeds. But we'll look at some winter weeds that are almost in bloom, and some that have already been blooming through the winter as well, and then obviously early spring stuff. So we'll start with over here. This tiny little plant right here. You can see there's a tomato plant here. There's some greens growing right here. There's lots of spinach growing here, and that I'm also stepping on. And then we have Suriname cherry here. So this Suriname cherry I got from a friend of mine, and typically when we bring home any sort of plants from a nursery or anywhere, there's always weeds that are going to come along with it. And so this is how this little delicate weed got to be in my garden. It came along with my Suriname cherry, and I was very happy to bring it home and to let it grow. So this is a common winter plant. It's called, people call it cucumber weed as a common name, because it tends to taste like cucumber. So you can see that the stem is kind of clear, and then you can see how the little flowers are forming up the stem, and I'm seeing one that's almost in bloom. There's some white coming out, but it's a little fuzzy, and it tastes like cucumber. It's good raw in salad, and then you can also cook it and eat it like a pot herb. It tends to lose that cucumber flavor when you cook it. I really like it raw because I love cucumber. But this is a really great one. I'll put that back there. And then we'll travel this way for a few more. So next, we have a lot of weeds growing in this garden. There are many, there's some fruit trees throughout this area. There's some ornamental things that I've planted, more for the bees. There's some winter veggies growing, and there's a lot of weeds. And I love it, and my bees love it, the pollinators love it. And the lizards love it, and it's just great for the ecosystem in general. So first we'll look at the spiderwort, since she's kind of front and center. So the spiderwort is very common. People love it and sometimes hate it because it will take over. Once you introduce it to your garden, it will spread far and wide. But the bees love it. The flowers open in the morning, and the bees will be all over it. Today it's cloudy outside, so the bees are staying in the hive, and so we're not seeing our pollinator friends all over it today. But they open in the morning, and the flowers close up in the afternoon. So when the flowers close, after the bees have visited the flowers, my children love to come out here and pick the flowers. They're great on salads. and kids love to just pop them in their mouth constantly. But the spiderwort, this plant has mucilaginous qualities to it. So if you pop a leaf off or you break the stem, there's a little bit of mucilage there, and plants that have mucilage, it's a good indicator that they're going to be really soothing and coating to our mucous membranes. So that's going to be really great for the digestive tract. It's gonna help soothe and cool and coat all the digestive organs, and then also all the mucous membranes, like I mentioned. So this is a really great one that's going to soothe and coat. And let's see, right behind me we have the false Hawksbeard. This is a cheerful little spring weed or plant or herb. The false Hawksbeard, this is a really common one. If you don't mow it down, you will see this everywhere. So it's pretty prolific, and once it flowers and goes to seed, the seeds will spread everywhere, and so it's a really prolific one. But the leaves, so it's really easy to identify by the flowers, and then the leaves, that kind of shape. And it's a great pot herb, so you can cook these just like you would collard greens or mustard greens or any sort of green that you would cook down. And the more we cook the greens, the more nutrients we're able to get from them. So cooking your greens is a really great idea. And this is it's free and it's everywhere, and it's wild. So that means that we're getting, our local nutrients. Hopefully we have some nutrients and minerals in the soil here. But you're getting what's local, and you're also getting that, that like tenacious quality of wild food, which we need a little bit more of in this day and age. So, false Hawksbeard. What else do we have right in this patch? We have Oxalis. So, the clovers, what people know of as the 3-leaf clover. Sometimes you might find a 4-leaf clover, but the Oxalis is the common clover. And I have a lot of the non-native Oxalis growing in this patch. So the little pink or purplish flowers, this is the non-native Oxalis. The Oxalis with the yellow flowers is our native Oxalis, and I do have some of that growing in the garden, but apparently not right here in this patch. This is another great green to eat. It's very tart, so it's good in salads, like a lot of kids. Again, like they love to pick the flowers. Kids love to eat flowers. So it's fun for children to pick them and put a salad together with your kids, and it gives it a really tart pop. And it can be quite, like obvious on your palate, which it just adds a nice pop to food. Okay, and then let's see. If I back up just a little bit, I come to one of my favorites. This plant right here is, you can see it's growing here and it's growing up right here. It's called Cleavers, and it's cleaving to me right now. It wants to be with me. But it cleaves to everything. It's very sticky, and so it helps it to grow up everything and find the sunlight, and it's just about to flower. I can see the little white tips, and actually you can see the little white tips too. They're subtle, but it's about to come into full bloom, and This is one of my favorites. It's a great plant for the lymphatic system. It's a really amazing lymphatic cleanser, which everybody can use for sure. And I'm not harvesting this. It's like a very, close plant ally for me. And I'm not going to harvest it. I'm going to let it flower and I'm going to let it go to seed, because I hope that one day this weed will be like a winter ground cover. And my hopes is that one day this will just be everywhere in the garden in the wintertime. And then I can start harvesting it when it's more prolific. But yeah, this is a really great one. Super awesome for the lymph system. And we'll go back here just a little bit for another one. I think the last plant that we'll talk about for the winter / early spring weeds for us in North Florida is its common name. It goes by chickweed, and it's kind of hidden here below my hose in my garden. It was very prolific at one time, and I think that it's gotten covered by all of the oak leaves here, and some other things have kind of taken over. So it's small, but there is one flower on it, so we can see what the sweet little flower looks like. And it's a good one to keep your eye out for in the winter time, and then when it blooms in late winter and early spring. So I'll move behind the hose so you can see it. This dainty little flower right here. So this whole plant is the chickweed, and I'm glad that we got a flower today. And you can see the 4 petals. You can see how it kind of looks like a star. Chickweed is extremely nutritive. It's another great green that can be eaten raw or cooked like a pot herb. It's really high in so many vitamins and minerals. It's like, hard to even state them all. But chickweed is another great plant for the lymph system. It's another one that has that mucilaginous quality to it. So it's going to be really cooling and coating and soothing to the mucous membranes. It has expectorant qualities as well. So if we have phlegm, in the chest, it helps to expel any of that good stuff. So even though I wish we had, a larger patch of that to work with today, at least we have that sweet little flower to see. So that'll be it for today. I kept it at a minimum, just looking at the winter and the spring weeds / food / medicine. And then we'll take another look at some of our summer plants here at the OMstead in a few months.